Before we start, just a reminder, please follow us on YouTube, subscribe, like, share all of our videos. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, so please go follow if you enjoy our content. Holy cow. Please share, like, all that. So let's just get right into it. Switch it over to another team that actually seems to figured out their problem. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Saints Sunday with Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Unbelievable.
So it kind of raises the question. Like, the Saints hadn't lost for a while now. Ever since Drew Brees went down, they hadn't lost. Taysom Hill's been playing good. But then the Philadelphia Eagles, who everybody's been kind of just crapping on this whole season, come in and beat them convincingly, I would say. Was Carson Wentz the problem?
Carson Wentz had to be the problem. That the thing, you can't win football games with a minimum, floor of 3 turnovers a game. You can't, that is 3 extra opportunities you are giving the opposing team. And it's hard to win football games in the National Football League. Even the Jets would whoop the shit out of most college teams. I say most because there's maybe Nick Saban makes them look dumb. But, it is hard to win. It's any given Sunday. And when you're giving up, the best way to win when, you're struggling or anything like that is you can't create turnovers. If you play mistake-free, that's why the Pittsburgh was on that run. They're not the best 11-0 team I've ever seen. Or, they're not even close. But the reason they won 11 straight games is because they didn't make mistakes. You know what I mean? If you don't make mistakes, you play decent defense, decent offense, and you really control your flow of the game, you're going to win a lot of football games. And the Eagles, literally, that's what they did. They mistake-free, they ran, they looked like, a decent team, and I think Carson Wentz was absolutely the problem. And I have no idea where he goes after this, because you can't cut the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
$50 million cap hit.
That's kind of what I go with. What's that, Pelafehi? Yeah, I mean, besides the physical aspect, he's been turning the ball over, this is actually a great point.
Phenomenal point.
He's been mentally defeated, where we talked about on the show, last week, we talked about the Washington football team, how they're not the most talented team, besides, that pass rush, which is insane, but they're buying into their leaders. A team can't buy into a guy that, 1, is physically just playing terrible, and 2, he has no confidence in himself or his play. So you can't get behind that guy. And the quarterback is clearly the leader of the team, no matter what you say. He is the guy. He is the one that you look towards when, shit hits the fan. Okay, we look towards our guy. What are you going to do? And if you look at Carson Wentz, where it's he has nothing left mentally, I think he needs to leave Philly. Wherever that is, that's a topic for another day. But I think he needs to leave Philly and refine himself, because he clearly was the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he's not the only problem. I want to say that. Let's not make it seem like this whole team, their weapons still aren't great. Their secondary is still also not great. Not to keep repeating myself.
Defense needs work.
So I think bringing Jalen Hurts brings a new spark, so there's kind of that energy the first game. I'm excited to see what he does next week, but I think Carson Wentz was a huge problem with that, and I think sitting Carson is going to keep Doug Peterson there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, so another thing, too, is how many times were we seeing Carson get sacked a game? 5 or 6? Every game? Take a guess how many times Jalen Hurts got sacked.
1 at most.
0.
I was going to say.
He literally didn't get sacked, and the Saints have probably if not the best, the second best defense in the NFC. So, Jalen Wentz coming in, doing what he did, and getting that win against Jalen Hurts. Sorry, Jalen Wentz. That's funny. Jalen Hurts coming in and getting that win against the Saints, that changes everything. Because last time we were talking about Jalen Hurts in Alabama, he wasn't good enough to hold the starting job, and now he just beat the New Orleans Saints. That's huge. That totally changed the narrative there, and I agree. Especially if they win this week, Doug Peterson's going to all of a sudden look like a smarter man than, I think we've been giving him credit for.
And I think with Jalen Hurts is, 1, it's not even so much his physical ability. Yeah, he's a good scramble guy. I don't think he has the most talented arm out there. I really don't.
Free football.
He's mentally smart. And 2, he is just such a driven guy. He's a leader. Yeah. He handles himself very well. When he lost the job in the national championship game,
we've talked about this before.
We have. He handled himself like a professional. That is what I think is more important than physical talent, to an extent, clearly.
Yeah.
But if you have a guy that's that young with that much maturity and can be a leader in the locker room off the rip, he could be your franchise guy. Like, I think people underestimate the ability, because you can only grow so much, like, mentally, maturity, and you can improve, but some guys just have it and others can't, where Jalen Hurts, he doesn't have the most talented arm. Okay, neither did Tom Brady, and now look at him. And I'm not saying this guy's going to be Tom Brady, but what I'm saying is it's easier to improve your mechanics and your physical play than it is your leadership abilities. And
some people, like, that's a good point, because especially the way he handled himself at Alabama, went to it, like, he didn't care. He's like, okay, I understand, like, we're a team, I still want to win. And that was it. And kudos to Carson Wentz, too, because I was watching him on the sideline. I was trying to keep an eye out. You know, he checked all the boxes, didn't look upset, looked like still wanted to win. So I'll give him credit where credit is due. He handled it like a man.
Well, also, if he didn't, less teams are going to want to go for him. He already has a very limited amount of teams that are probably going to go for him in the offseason.
I think the only chance he has is with the Colts.
Exactly. So now imagine if he had acted like a child, not a professional, and a full-grown man who already has a fat contract.
Yeah.
So I think he handled himself very well, but I do think Carson Wentz was a huge problem for the Eagles.
And now, because I want to say a decent amount of it's mental. I know he's got, like, actual, like, mechanical problems in the way he throws, and he takes too long in his decision-making. But I think, I don't know. Do you think he's salvageable? I really don't.
I do. I think if you put him behind a good O-line with the Colts there, I think it's possible.
Now, hold on, though. He is behind a halfway decent O-line. We've been putting a lot of blame on the Eagles O-line. Excuse me. But for them to get 0 sacks against Jalen Hurts, I think that's on Carson. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying. I just think if you put him behind an even better O-line and the offensive coordinator that he was thriving with a couple years ago,
that's the big one.
I think that combined is also a veteran leader like T.Y. Hilton and a young guy in Pittman there. I think that duo is great. Yeah. I just think he needs to leave. I think he needs a new environment, and I think the Colts would be the best fit for him.
I think the Colts are the only fit. Nobody else is going to take a shot on a guy who, played this poorly. He had the worst QBR in the entire league.
And the big problem is that contract. I mean, good for him for getting his money, but
you literally can't cut the guy. You take more a $20 million plus increase on your cap hit just for cutting him.
If next year I saw a stat, if they cut him, the Eagles take a $59 million cap hit.
59?
They can't do that. It's up there. It's 50
so
something.
that's $29 million more than what he'd be making. That's
exactly.
Literally double. That's 2 Carson Wentz contracts. If
the Eagles can trade him, they trade him for anything.
Oh, you're not getting. There's no leverage in this trade. You're just losing.